Hello everyone, we have to discuss about that interview session preparation 2023 question number 30 IAS property general studies. How does the Taliban's and growing the influences in the AFPEC and the region impact India and the security interested, and what the measures and can India and take to the mitigated and the association risk and the protected it the strategic interested analysis approach. Candidate can start the answer and with the basic ideas of the scenarios of Afghanistan take over the Taliban and how it the impactings and the regional and security especially and the Indias, and also try to the suggested on the some measures and to the control counters the situation and introductions. The Taliban is and the Islamic fundamentalism and politicals and the military organization operating in the Afghanistan. It has the taken and control of the Afghanistan, and as on the 16th August 2021, it is the growing the influences in the AFPEC and the region is other significant changes for the regional sustainability, stabilities and the global and security body. The Taliban growing the influences in the AFPEC and the region can have the sufficient and implication for the India and the securities and interested. Terrorism. The Taliban link into the terrorist and the groups and such as the Al and the Al-Qaeda's and the Islamic State and pose other significant threat into the India security interested the groups and could provided safe havens and for thus the groups to plan and the launch attack on the Indian soils and cross borders and activities. The Taliban's growing the influences and also the lead to and the increase in the cross borders activities and such as the smugglings and of the arms and the drugs and the human trafficking, and this could and have other direct impact on the India security and the territorial integrities and the strategic and the rivalry and the Taliban resurgences and could also the bit and exciting the strategics and the rivalries and between the India and the Pakistan. Pakistan has the traditionally supported the Taliban and it is the glowing. चुप हो जा. Influences could the emboldens and the Pakistan to the pursuit. It is the strategic interested more the aggressively. Humanitarians and crisis. The Taliban growing the influences has also led to the humanitarians crisis in the region with other significant increase in the violence and the deployment, and this the could and lead to the instabilities in the region and could also the impact India and the security interested regionals and the instabilities and the Taliban's and growing the influences and could lead to the regionals and the instabilities and which could the impact on India the security interested, and it could the exacerbates exciting tension and between the India and the Pakistan and lead to the increase and the competition between the regionals and powers, and India can the take and several the measures and to the mitigate the risk and posed by the Taliban and protect its the strategic interested, and here are the some key pointed and diplomatic engagement. India can the engage and with the regionals and powers including the Afghanistan and the Pakistan to address the challenges and posed by the Taliban, and this the could and involve the workings and with thus the countries and to the promotes and the stabilities in the regions and to the counters the threat of the terrorism and the military cooperations. India could also the provided the military assistances to Afghanistan to help it the counter the Taliban, and this includes the provide providing and the training and the equipments and to the Afghan securities and force and the intelligence sharing to help them and the better tracks and the disrupt the activities of the Taliban and the counter terrorism. And Mrs. India can the take an step into the enhances and it is the advance and counter terrorism. Mrs. to the mitigates the risk and posed by the Taliban and this the could involve in the increasing the surveillances of the known and terrorist group and the individuals and as well as the improving the borders and security to prevent the infiltrations of the mitigations. Militant and into India. Economic engagement India can and the also and the engagement with the Afghanistan and the Pakistan to the promotes economic development in the regions and this the could and include the investment in the infrastructure and trade and the others areas and that could promote the regional and the stabilities and help to the counter the influences of the Taliban. The Taliban and the multilaterals and the engagement and India can the engage and with the others and the countries and can multilateral organization to address the challenges posed by the Taliban and this could the involve in working with the United States and Russia and the others power to promote the stabilities in the regions and to the counters the threat of the terrorist and include India can the take several the measures and to the mitigates the risk and posed by the Taliban and protect its the strategics interested and addressing and this the challenges and will the required and the comprehensive approach and that the involve diplomatic engagement and military and the cooperation counter terrorism measures the economics engagement and the multilaterals engagement. 31 India's increasing the crude important and from the Russia are the guided and by the strategic pragmatism and not and the economic opportunities and do you the agree critically comment and approach candidate can start and the answers and with the givings and basic ideas and about the recent increase in the importance of oils and also highlight and how it is the important and the strategically and economic to the import provide both side of the comment introduction. Russia has for the second month in other row and remained and the India's and top oils the suppliers in the November 2022 surpassing and the traditional sellers and Iraq's and the Saudi Arabia Russia and makes up of for the 22% of the India's and total the crude importance and the ahead of the Iraq and 20.5% of the Saudi Arabia 16% body and India the increasing and crude important imports and from the Russias and can be the seen as the guided and mainly by the strategic pragmatism and India has the historically and mentioned close the strategic ties and with the Russias and it's the increasing crude imports and from the Russia can be the seen as the part of this the strategic partnerships and counter China and this the partnerships and has been the strategized and in the recent year as both the countries and has the showed to the counterbalance and the growing influences of the China in the region and close ties and forms for the perspective in India the decisions to increase and it is the crude importance from the Russias and can be the seen as other strategic move and the buildings and closer ties and with the Moscow's and energy security. Energy security India increasing the crude oil and the important from the Russia can be the seen as other way to enhance and the its energy and the security giving the voluntarily जब मैं बन रहा हूँ voluntarily and of oil the prices voluntarily of the oil prices हाँ the political instabilities in the some oils and the rich and the regions and having other reliable suppliers unlike the Russia's and can help the ensure that the India's and the energy and need are the meets and even in the times and of the crisis mitigating and the geopolitical and risk by the diversifying and it's the sources of the crude oil and India can the reduce and it is the dependence on any the one suppliers and including the those in the regions and with the geopolitical risk and this can the help and insulate and India's and from the potential supply and the disruptions and which can have the sufficient which can the significant economic and the strategic implication while the strategics and the consideration and do play other role in this the decisions it would not be the equivalent to the say and there the economic and the opportunities and does not and the also factors in the diversification of crude import and in the addition to strategics and the economic consideration and India decision to increase it's the crude imports and from the Russia and can also be the seen as other move and I'm it and the diversified and it is the sources of the crude oil this is the important for the India's and as it's the six and to the reduce and it is the dependence on any the one and suppliers and to the mitigates the risk of the supply disruptions and reduce the dependencies as India seeks and to the diversified and it is the sources of the energy and the reduce and it is the dependencies on the oil and from the Middle East and the increasing the crude imports and from the Russia can be the seen as other logical step and towards the building stronger teas and with the Moscows and the economic growth India and the economic growth and has led to the increase in energy the demand and which has the outstreams domestic production leading to the increase in the imports and in this the contact and Russia renewables supply of the crude oil has become and the important sources of the energy and the security for India cost effectiveness and the increasing crude oil important from the Russia can be the seen and the economically signed and as it and can help and India diversified and it is the sources of the crude oil reducing and it is the imports it dependence on any the others upon and the suppliers any the mitigating the risk of the supply disruptions and the improved and the infrastructures Russia has the invested heavily in the upgrading and its the oil infrastructure which has the resulted in the increased the production and the improve the efficiency and making it and the events and more the attractive sources of the crude for the import conclusion and India decisions to the income to increase its the crude important from the Russias and guided by other combination of the strategic pragmatism and the economic opportunities and it's the reflect the close ties and between the two countries and the India decides and to the diversified it is the sources of the crude oil and while also securing other reliable supply at the time of the rising demands. Question number 32. High can regulators and ensures and that the role of the corporation in economic development is aligned with the democratic value and the principle and while addressing the challenges and posed by the crony capitalism approach. In this, the question candidate need to the write about the regulations role in the ensuring economic development is aligned with the democratic value and the principles and while the addressing while addressing challenging the post and why the crony capitalism. Introductions. Crony capitalism and the refers to the system and where the business and the individuals and with the close and ties and to the government officials are the giving preferential treatment such as the special access to the contract and the subsidized are the regulars. Regulation this can lead to the corruption and the inefficiency and an other lack of the competitions. Competition in the market and as well as the accelerate and income inequality and the undermines and publics and trust in the government institution body. Regulation play an the important role in important role in the ensuring that the corporation activities is aligned and build and with democratics value and in addressing the crony capitalism. Here are the few and the ways regulators can work towards this the goal. Towards the goal and strong regulatory and the frameworks and regulation can be established and the enforce and strong and the regulatory and frameworks and that the promotes transparency, accountability and fairness. Strong regulatory and the framework and the regulation can establish and the enforce strong. सानिया से बोल दिए strong regulatory framework. Strong regulatory framework and the regulation can establish and the inform strong the regulatory frameworks that promote the transparency and the accountability and fair the competition and this can be the achieved and through other range. Methods such as the regulars and the audits and the monitoring and the enforce of the appliances with the law and the regulations. तुम खाना हाँ हाँ तो 2 रोटी खाऊंगी बर्तन खाए बस आगे खाएगा खाना promoting ethics and the business and the practices and the regulation can with the corporated and to the promotes and the ethics business and the practices and the value that are the aligned with the democratic principles. This can be the achieved and through the programs and that the incentives and goods the behavior such as the tax credit or other the incentives. incentive for the companies, and that the demonstrations are the commitment and to the ethicals and the behaviors and creating and the open and the competition business and the environments and regulation can the work to create and the opens and the competition business and environment that the encourages innovations and the entrepreneurships, and this can be the achievement through the methods and such as reducing the barriers and to the entry and producing providings and the access and to the financings and the encroachings and the development of the new and the business and encouraging and the civil societies engagement and the regulators, and can the encourages and civil society organization can other the stakeholder and to play and the active role in the monitoring and reporting on the corporates and the activities. This can be achieved through and methods such as other cases of the corruptions or the other and the unethical behaviors, and providing opportunity for the public participation, and the regulators and can provide opportunities for the public and the participation in the decisions making process, and such as the public consultations or the hearings, and this can help the ensures and that the public voice is the heard, and that the interactions and of all the stakeholders are taken into the account. Economic development should be the guided and by the democratics and the value and such as the transparency, accountabilities, and fairs the competitions. Regulatory framework and there the promote ethics and the business and practices, and can help the privates and crony the capitalists by the incentivizations and the companies to behave the responsible and the public participations in the decisions making process, and can help the insurers and that the interest and of all the stakeholders and are taken into the account, and reducing the risk of the chronism development, and the enforcing the stroke and the anti-corruption and law can help and the prevent crony capitalism, and by the creating other cultures of the accountabilities and investings in the education and the skills training skill training, and can help the reduce and the inequalities, and which are the breedings and groups and for the crony capitalism. Crony capitalism and promoting small and the medium sized enterprises, and can help ensure other more diverse and the competitions and the business and environment, and reducing the likelihood of the chronism, and encouraging the foreign and the investment, and can help bring in the new ideas and the competitions, and reducing the risk of the crony and the promoting the economics and development is not the pursuit and at the expenses of the social and the environmental well-being which can then lead and to the chronotism in the chronotism and the promoting the economically development and promoting social responsibilities among companies, and can help the ensures and that the economic development is not the pursued at the expenses of the social and the economic well-being, and which can lead to the chronism and in the long run, and way to the avoid crony capitalism. Transparency in the government and decisions making the process, and public disclose of the contract An agreement can help the prevent corruptions and ensures that the government official and accountable to the public. Strong institutions. Strong institutions such as the independent judiciaries and media can help prevent corruption. Prevents corruption and hold the government on official accountable. Free market and the promoting free and the open market and can help the prevent and the crony capitalism and by allowing new interest. We end the entrance and to the complete with the established and the business and political reforms and such as the campaign France finance reforms and can help prevent politicians and from the becoming and to the closely ties and to the particular business or the interest. Education and the awareness. Education and awareness competitions can help the promotes other cultures and accountability and transparency. Transparency increase peoples and to damage the better government. Conclusion. It is important and to the note that avoid the crony capitalism. Crony capitalism is not and the easy task and the required and the conclusions. Continuous effort and the commitment it involves promoting and transparency, accountability and competition in the market. Competition in the market as well as the creating cultures and the good governance and the public participations. Question number 33. India defense PSU and the must and the improve and their the efficiency and the performance to ensure their the continuous and the revenues and competitiveness in either rapidly and changing the global's defense and landscapes and EU sides. Candidate can start the answer with the basic ideas of the Indian defense PSU and bears the self-sufficient and also as the part and the demand the highlight and what the necessary and the make it the competitiveness in the global difference landscapes. Introductions. Defense PSU are the responsible for the design and the development and the manufacture of the wide range of the defense and equipment including the fighters aircraft, tank, naval and the vessels and missiles and the ammunitions and India's defense and PSUs and play a critical role in the meanings. The country defend and the need end in the advancing and the India's and self-sufficient independence productions. Body in the rapidly and changing globals and the defense landscapes and it is the important for the PSU and to be the improve their the efficiency and the performance to remain the relevance and the competitives and here are the sums and key reasons and why this is the necessary and changing the technologies and with the rapid advancement in the technologies. In technologies, there is other need and for India's and defense PSU and to keep pace and and with thus changes and this the required investment in the research and the development, adoption of the new technology and the upskillings and the employees and final to do and cold could the result in other laws of the competitiveness as the foreigns and companies and with the more advanced and technologies and could the out complete thus the PSU and cost the efficiency. India defenses PSU have the often and been the criticism and for there's the high cost of the productions. This is the major changes as the defense and budget and are the often limited and the governments and need to the ensure and that it's the get the best value for the money and improving efficiency and the reducing the cost can help and thus the PSU and remain the competition and the better meets the need of the Indian armed forces and competition from the private sector. In the recent years the Indians and government has been the promoting greater involvement of the private sector in the defense production and this has led and to the increase the competition and defense and PSU need to the improve their the performance to stay the relevant in this the changing landscapes. Need for exports and the competitiveness and with the Indians government and push the towards and make in India and there is other need of the for India and the defense PSU and to be the export and competitiveness and this the requires and them and to meet the international qualities and standard and reduce the cost and the improve delivery timeline. And failures to do so and could the result in the missed and opportunities to expert dependent and in equipment and the generated revenue. Conclusion, we require and the investment in research and the development adoptions of new the technologies and upskillings of the employees in the employees and cost the efficiency and the export competitiveness and thus the efforts. Thus effort will not only and the benefits and thus and the PSU and but also the help and meet the defense and need of the countries and the generate employment opportunities. Thank you guys. This session will be closed. Next session is 56.